National attention on Richmond as new details of scandal unfold.
I'm disappointed that we're in the national media and appear to be in chaos.
Renewed calls for resignation as Virginia's top 3 political leaders avoid the public eye.
Resign. And how long will the negative impact affect Virginia in the future? Our live team coverage starts now. 8 News has obtained some pictures that are circulating online right now that some say appear to show Virginia Governor Ralph Northam in blackface.
Now take a look at the photo all the way on the right. It's from Northam's 1984 yearbook page, showing 2 men, one in blackface and the other in a KKK robe. In a statement, Governor Northam apologized for the photograph, saying that he was deeply sorry, but did not clarify which man in the photo he was.
Governor Northam admits the photo is racist and offensive. Tonight, I spoke with Richmond's NAACP president, who works closely with Northam. He says this came from nowhere, and it's even more upsetting. This came out on the first day of Black History Month.
We're breaking into your programming this afternoon for a special report. Governor Ralph Northam says he is not resigning. We're getting a short warning here on Governor Northam coming to the podium. Thanks very much. We're going to turn away from you and back to what's happening now at Capitol Square. Here's the governor.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I'm pleased to be joined by my wife, Pam, and thank you for being here as well. There has been much public discussion about racist and offensive materials that appear on my page of the 1984 Eastern Virginia Medical School yearbook. And I believe it is important for Virginians to hear directly from me.
In that press conference, Democratic Governor Ralph Northam said that he wanted to set the record straight, that once those controversial photos had surfaced, he says he's not resigning because that photo, he says, isn't of him.
I was not in that costume either as black-faced or as KKK.
Explaining himself before a crowded room after apologizing yesterday, Governor Ralph Northam says looking at the picture more closely of the 2 men in a KKK robe and in blackface on his yearbook page.
It is definitely not me. I can tell by looking at it.
The explanation, a classmate from Eastern Virginia Medical School told Northam someone could have put the wrong photo on his page.
She said it happened on numerous pages in this very yearbook.
The Eastern Shore Democrat does admit to a time when he put shoe polish on his face back in 1984 for a Michael Jackson dance competition in San Antonio. Since then, he's learned it's hurtful.
I certainly take responsibility for what happened in San Antonio. I have learned from that, but this was not my picture.
Speaking for the first time about the offensive nickname under his photograph in the Virginia Military Institute yearbook, Northam says he went by Goose, and it's what people who knew him growing up called him.
There were 2 individuals, as best I can recollect, at VMI. They were a year ahead of me that called me Coon Man. I don't know their motives or intent.
Refusing to step down despite demands from former supporters, Northam wants Virginians to accept his apology so they can move forward together.
I am far from perfect, and I can always strive to do more.
Now, the end of this press conference was a frenzy of questions, reporter after reporter jumping over each other to ask questions for the governor, and he kept emphasizing with each answer that he does not intend to step down from his role. Now, meanwhile, protests had broke out outside the Capitol where members of the public are calling for the governor to resign. To continue our coverage, let's go to 8 News reporter Sierra Fox with that story. Sierra.
Yeah, like you said, Sarah, protesters stood here outside the Capitol near the governor's mansion, demanding that Governor Northam step down. They were disappointed when he went back on his original statement and said that's not him in the photo, that he calls racist and offensive. 8 News caught the arrest of 2 protesters on camera. Capitol Police say Neil Wolf and Mark Sphere were yelling outside the governor's mansion. They were asked to voluntarily leave, and when they refused, they were taken into custody. The 2 men are charged with trespassing outside the executive mansion. During Governor Northam's speech, a small group of people watched from their phones and rallied, armed with signs demanding he resign, even calling him a liar. Protesters say the governor has broken their trust, and there's no way he can effectively govern the people of Virginia anymore. One protester I spoke with said she voted for Governor Northam and couldn't sleep last night because she felt betrayed after the racist and offensive yearbook photo popped up.
he's going to effectively hurt Virginia, and he's going to hurt the whole Commonwealth, Republicans and Democrats, if he does not step down. So this is a selfish act by Ralph Northam.
Many national and state leaders, as well as celebrities, are calling for Governor Northam to step down. But today in his speech, he says he wants to earn their forgiveness.
A Capitol in crisis.
Oh, I think this is a very, very tragic event.
I believe that the governor has to make the decisions in the best interest of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Pressure mounts for Governor Northam to resign in the wake of a yearbook photo scandal.
I am asking for the opportunity to earn your forgiveness.
Coverage from Capitol Square starts now.
8 News at 6 starts now.
Surrounded by scandal, calls continue to pour in demanding Governor Ralph Northam step down after a racist photo in his 1984 medical school yearbook. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Constance Jones.
And I'm Juan Condi. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are pushing for Governor Northam to step down tonight. Northam met quietly with top administration officials today, but still giving no sign that he'll leave office.
We have live team coverage tonight. 8 News reporters Nick Canigliaro, Kristen Smith and Sarah McCluskey have been working all angles of the story.
Well, a lot of people are wondering if impeachment is the answer. The Commonwealth's Constitution does outline an impeachment process. However, it doesn't seem to apply to this current controversy.
No Virginia governor has ever been impeached. Tonight, it's unclear if Governor Ralph Northam could be the first. Virginia's Constitution says governors can be impeached for malfeasance in office, corruption, neglect of duty, or other high crime or misdemeanor. But that's based on what a governor does while in office, not on a controversial photo from more than 30 years ago. According to the Constitution, the House of Delegates would be responsible for bringing the impeachment charges. However, House Speaker Kirk Cox insists that's not on their immediate agenda.
I think there's a rightful hesitation about removal from office because obviously you have to consider that to some degree you overturn an election.
The Speaker of the House adds that it would be less painful for everyone if the governor were to just resign. Now, if that were to happen, according to Virginia's Constitution, the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, would immediately become the acting governor.
Demonstrators are taking to the Capitol this evening to voice their anger over Governor Northam's refusal to resign.
8 News reporter Nick Canigliaro joins us live from outside the executive mansion with what's been going on out there.
Constance, earlier today, this area just outside Capitol Square in the Executive Mansion was packed with people holding signs, giving speeches, and chanting, all in an effort to have their message heard by the governor.
Now resign! Now resign!
Dozens gathered outside Capitol Square today with one concise message.
You cannot continue as governor of Virginia.
This all stemming from the anger around this photo found on Governor Ralph Northam's 1984 med school yearbook.
This is like the most egregious thing I ever saw. It made me physically sick.
Resign!
Resign now!
Resign now!
The signs calling for the same thing, a resignation from our governor.
This is a direct attack to one community, and we feel it as such as people of color. So we know that we have to take a stand and we have to be out here to demand that the governor does what is best for Virginia.
Protesters also spoke about the issues they had with his apologies surrounding these photos.
Even in 1984, they knew that was an entirely wrong thing to do.
When I saw these pictures, it was like white supremacy slapped us in the face. So it's really clear that in order for us to have any kind of reconciliation process and heal, there has to be a resignation.
One of the organizers for today's protest, Luis Aguilar, tells us they want to build something here in Virginia without this hatred from the past.
The trust is completely broken, and this is not something that we can accept.
You are not the leader we want. Get out.
Once the speeches were done outside here in the Executive Mansion, the roughly 50 people then marched along Capitol Square demanding Governor Northam's resignation.
The medical school that Governor Northam attended is launching an investigation into that racist yearbook photo. School leaders want to know why it was published 8 News reporter Kristen Smith is live at Eastern Virginia Medical School tonight with the latest on this. Kristen?
Juan, today the president of this institution apologized for what he called shockingly racist photos. The school has hired a law firm to investigate how those pictures ended up in yearbooks. Now, it won't change the past, but they're hoping it will help shape the future of EVMS. This is the racist image that rocked the Capitol. A man in blackface, another dressed as a Klansman, posted on Governor Ralph Northam's 1984 yearbook page.
Don't understand history or don't respect it, you're destined to repeat it. And we never want to repeat anything like this again.
Today, the president of Eastern Virginia Medical School insisted he doesn't know how racist pics made it into the 1984 yearbook or how word of the images got out.
I do not know. I do not know. I have no knowledge of anyone in EVMS leaking anything.
The school hired a law firm to investigate. Leaders want to know how offensive photos were allowed to live on yearbook pages. This one published as recently as 2013.
We want this to be more than just the review of what happened 30 years ago. We want to know what's happening today and what we can do to make things better.
So they're really hoping this investigation will bring some clarity to the issue and help the school move forward in making everyone feel equal and accepted. As for the yearbooks, after the president saw an offensive image, that one we showed you from 2013, he discontinued them.
The crisis at the Capitol continues tonight, and it's not just swirling around Virginia's governor. Now it's the lieutenant governor as well.
Justin Fairfax faces a sexual assault allegation from 2004. He denies the claim and calls it a smear. 8 News reporter Sierra Fox is following the story for us tonight. Sierra?
We just learned Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney called Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax last night to clear the air. This comes after Fairfax hinted that Mayor Stoney may have leaked information regarding the sexual assault allegation. Sources also tell 8 News Fairfax hung up on Mayor Stoney. Tonight, I asked Mayor Stoney if he was involved at all, and here's what he had to say.
That's absolutely 100% not true. And then, frankly, I'm a little, I'm kind of offended by such an insinuation.
Accusations against Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax has thrown Virginia's government into a deeper state of chaos.
Obviously, any allegation of sexual assault should be taken seriously, and I think in due time, whether or not all the facts will come out, and I think they should be also taken seriously.
Fairfax would replace Governor Northam if he resigns because of the yearbook photo scandal. Mayor Stoney still believes the governor needs to step down.
It's my hope that he comes to that decision in a timely manner.
House Minority Leader Elaine Filler-Corn says lawmakers are continuing to do business during this controversy.
We believe that strongly that the governor will make the right choice, the choice that he feels is best for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so, we're just focused on what we need to do.
Governor Northam does have one leader on his side. Senator Richard Stewart issued a statement saying, quote, "A man who has devoted his entire life to the service of others should have the opportunity to clear his name." Right now, Governor Ralph Northam is refusing to resign despite mounting pressure.
Capitol in crisis.
The million-dollar question is Governor Northam going to resign?
I do not believe he is.
First Governor Northam, then a sexual assault allegation against Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax.
I'm shocked, disappointed, still processing.
His accuser released her identity today. See what she says happened. And another bombshell. Mark Herring, the Attorney General, admits he donned blackface as a student at UVA.
I think the entire Commonwealth has been rocked.
Our live team coverage starts now.
Today's top stories and your Storm Tracker 8 weather in the first 8 minutes. 8 News starts now.
Capitol in crisis. New bombshells coming out today. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Constance Jones.
And I'm Juan Condi. Mark Herring admitted today that he, too, appeared in blackface while a student at the University of Virginia. Hours later, Justin Fairfax accuser comes forward with vivid details of her alleged sexual assault.
All this coming just 5 days after the first photo from Governor Northam's yearbook surfaced. Of course, we have complete team coverage tonight.
8 News reporter Sierra Fox is following the latest developments with Lieutenant Governor Fairfax.
But first, let's start things off with 8 News reporter Aaron Thomas with the latest on Attorney General Mark Herring.
Well, senators in the Legislative Black Caucus were moved to tears as Attorney General Mark Herring admitted to wearing blackface when he was 19 years old in college. He says that he was trying to impersonate the rapper Curtis Blow at the time. They say that he was also moved to tears as well. He accepts full responsibility. This is the latest bombshell to hit the Commonwealth. Days after Attorney General Mark Herring called for Governor Ralph Northam to resign for wearing blackface in college, Herring faces scrutiny for admitting the same thing. The yearbook scandal surrounding the governor inspired Herring to open up about what he calls a painful but important conversation. The Attorney General's office released a statement highlighting the incident dating back 40 years ago when he attended the University of Virginia. Herring says he's deeply, deeply sorry, and this conduct doesn't reflect the person he is now. News crews tried approaching Deputy Attorney General Cynthia Nixon, an African-American woman who works under A.G. Herring.
Do you think he should step down?
I just spoke to Mayor Stoney, and he said that he believes that the Attorney General is sincere in his apology. Do you agree? I do. Thank you.
This latest dramatic chapter has Democrats wondering what this means for the future of their party in Virginia. Herring is the latest state official accused of inappropriate behavior. House Speaker Kurt Cox released a statement in part calling the Attorney General's admission shocking. He says Herring should adhere to the standard he has set for others or he loses credibility. Now, 8 News has reached out to the Attorney General's office several times for comment, but they've been pretty quiet since news surrounding the governor broke over the weekend.
Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax faces a sexual assault allegation, and tonight his accuser breaks her silence.
In a newly released statement, she details her version of what happened. 8 News reporter Sierra Fox is live tonight at Capitol Square to explain for us. Sierra?
A college professor named Vanessa Tyson claims Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax forced her to perform oral sex back in 2004. Now, Fairfax denies that claim, but Tyson says she's been dealing with humiliation and pain ever since. When Vanessa Tyson learned Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax might succeed Governor Ralph Northam due to the racist yearbook photo scandal, she chose to speak out. Tyson says she met Fairfax back in 2004 at the Democratic National Convention in Boston. She claims the two crossed paths a couple times, but their interactions were never flirtatious. One day, Tyson went to Fairfax's hotel room with him so he could grab some documents. She says Fairfax kissed her, and the consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Fairfax denies the sexual assault is true and says he and Tyson had a consensual encounter. He says this allegation has been both surprising and hurtful. In a statement, he says, quote, "No one makes charges of this kind lightly, and I take it and this situation very seriously." Tyson says she hasn't spoken with Fairfax since that day. She believes Fairfax is branding her as a liar to serve his political ambitions. She's being represented by the same law firm Christine Blasey Ford hired in connection to her allegation against Brett Kavanaugh, and Fairfax has hired the same law firm that represented Kavanaugh. Virginia Democratic Congressman Bobby Scott and Tyson are longtime friends. ABC News reports that she told him about the alleged sexual assault a little over 1 year ago. Fairfax firmly believes he did nothing wrong in this situation. He also vows to fight this until the very end.
You can actually see right now, if you look very closely, you can see some of the participants walking up the stairs of Capitol Square. It's where they actually carried out a coffin to represent the death of the old Democratic Party.
Reverend Al Sharpton says what's happening right now in Virginia is not just a Virginia issue, it's a national issue. But tonight he says a spotlight needs to remain on Virginia's governor and attorney general until they resign.
They're trying to reduce this to an act of boys would be boys. No, It is deeper than that.
Repeated calls for resignation from Reverend Al Sharpton, speaking on the campus of Virginia Union University.
It's not by happen chance that God pulled back the covers in Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy.
Joined by lawmakers and fellow clergy for a fiery and emotional discussion about race and politics, as two of Virginia's top politicians reel in the aftermath of racist photo scandals.
Blackface represents a deeper problem where people felt they could dehumanize and humiliate people based on their inferiority.
Sharpton telling reporters he's troubled by the way Northam handled this scandal.
Whether you blackface in Virginia or blackface in San Antonio, you are a blackface user.
Sharpton also addressing the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville back in 2017 and the heated debate over Confederate monuments.
Why would we march against statues of dead folks and not hold accountable living folks today?
Juan and Constance, tonight, Sharpton is calling for any politicians with racist or blackface photos to come forward. Sharpton also telling the crowd at Virginia Union that the sexual assault allegations against Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax are serious, but he's hoping that both the accuser and Fairfax will be respected and heard as all of this plays out.
Breaking now, another woman's accusing Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax of sexual assault. He is denying those allegations. Thanks for being with us. I'm Juan Condi.
And I'm Constance Jones. This is just the latest in a long list of scandals now plaguing the Capitol.
And we have live team coverage on all this, looking at all the different angles of the controversy.
But first, we want to start with Sierra Fox, who has the latest on these new allegations just coming in. Sierra.
A woman says she was raped by Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax back in 2000 when the two were students at Duke University. Now Fairfax claims the allegations aren't true. His accuser, Meredith Watson, says she was friends with Fairfax, but the two never dated. Watson's attorney says she told friends about the rape in emails and Facebook messages. Earlier this week, Vanessa Tyson accused Fairfax of forcing her to perform oral sex at the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston. Watson's attorney says her client's attack was allegedly similar. Several people have already called on Fairfax to resign on Twitter. This includes Governor McAuliffe, who finds both allegations against Fairfax serious and credible. In a statement, Fairfax says he will not step down, saying, quote, "It is obvious that a vicious and coordinated smear campaign is being orchestrated against me." And Fairfax is demanding a full investigation and says these allegations are not true. As the crisis at the Capitol continues, stay with 8 News for the latest developments. Reporting live in Richmond, Sierra Fox, 8 News.
Thank you, Sierra. For the very first time in several days, Governor Northam posted on Twitter this afternoon. This is what he wrote. He said that he spoke with John Boyd Jr., founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. In his own tweet, Boyd says he's urging Northam not to resign. Governor Northam also sent an email to state employees today. In it, he wrote that he was deeply sorry for being what he calls a distraction to the work being done at the Capitol, and went on to say the work will continue and that he plans to continue to lead the Commonwealth. 8 News Capitol Bureau reporter Sarah McCluskey's been there on the ground all week long, following all the details. She's live there tonight with us for the very latest. Sarah?
Well, Juan, I sat down with Senator Richard Stewart, who, despite being on the other side of the aisle, is very close with Governor Ralph Northam. While everything has been very tense at the Capitol over the past week, Stewart says he still stands with the governor and says he should not resign.
When was the last time you talked to the governor?
I talk to him fairly regularly.
A friend for over a decade, Senator Richard Stewart met Ralph Northam when they joined the General Assembly in 2008.
I was heartbroken for everybody involved. I don't know any other way to say it.
Heartbroken after this photo surfaced from Northam's medical college yearbook. Hearing initial calls for his resignation, Stewart said he would stand by the Eastern Shore Democrat.
I don't think there are many people out there who can say that they're the same person today that they were 35 years ago.
According to an office spokesperson, Northam spoke with Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax yesterday morning.
Take care, guys.
But has remained quiet since an infamous press conference on Saturday when he said he isn't one of the men in the photograph. A source says there are added security precautions being taken around Capitol Square, and the governor is using tunnels between a number of buildings for protection. Meanwhile, Democrats have muted calls for the governor to step down amid new revelations about the lieutenant governor and attorney general. Republican leadership is backing off too.
The Democrats have their family issues. I have no business sticking my nose into it, and I'm not going to intrude in it.
Senator Stewart thinks the governor can still work to salvage his relationship with Virginians.
I think he needs to lead Virginia in a very difficult time.
Now, the governor's office has not given an update on the investigation into that racist photo from Northam's Medical College yearbook. I will continue to reach out for more information about that investigation, and we'll be sure to give you an update once we get those details.
Governor Ralph Northam is set to appear at Virginia Union University next week for what organizers have dubbed as his apology tour. A News investigator Carrie O'Brien is learning that there are many questions surrounding this so-called tour. Carrie?
Well, that's right, Constance. Here's what we know. The governor will attend the event where former Richmond Mayor Dwight Jones will be speaking. The topic, faith, identity, and social justice. But what other events are on the apology tour and who the governor is getting guidance from is a mystery, as lawmakers say they still haven't personally seen him in days.
I'm wondering who he's talking to about this apology tour.
Delegate Dolores McQuinn admits she's spoken to Governor Ralph Northam since the blackface photo controversy surfaced, but she's not revealing much.
In reference to him trying to help address the issue, we have spoke. Yeah.
What did he say?
We have spoke.
No details of what he said?
No, not right now. I honor the privacy of the conversation that we've had.
When asked what advice the Democrat had for the governor, she did tell us this.
My advice is to, and that's for everyone else, to take this opportunity to have some teaching moments. You know, systemic structural racism, it's real. It's been in place for a very long time.
So he has not reached out to you?
I've not talked to the governor specifically about this apology tour.
The Virginia Legislative Black Caucus wouldn't comment on if they had been consulted about the governor's apology tour. But caucus member and delegate Jeff Bourne told us he had not, and he really wished the governor would hold off.
It would be my personal preference if the tour and these conversations were a little bit further out, because we do have a lot of important work to do and we need him engaged.
Bourne and other lawmakers say they haven't personally seen the governor in days, but he does appear to be working. In a press release, he announced grants for farmers and the restoration of rights for 10,000 Virginians. And perhaps in a reference to himself, he stated, "I believe in second chances." Published reports also say the governor has said he's now open to getting rid of Confederate monuments. Bourne tells us the governor can introduce a bill anytime, and he hasn't seen anything from him yet. But certainly the governor must know legislation to allow localities to do that has already failed this session under the Republican-controlled legislature. Constance?
Thank you so much, Carrie. Of course, we will continue to follow the Capitol in crisis. For all the new details, you can head to our website at WRIC.com or download the 8 News app.